If Jesus was the Prince of Peace, why are so many American Christians so thirsty for war? Trump changed the name of the Department of Defense to the Department of War, and the Secretary Pete Hegseth cannot hide his glee about this rebrand despite his very public Christian faith. Now, while I hate war, I have to admit that this new name is more honest. We are warmongers, and the American military is an economically motivated industrial complex. It's a war economy. But the question is, rather than taking time for introspection, saying, wow, is this really who we've become? Why are so many Christians happy about this status quo? Why aren't they pushing instead for a Department of Peace focused on global reconciliation and repair? American evangelicals have hardly ever met a war they didn't like. Their support for both the Vietnam and Iraq wars were much higher than the national average. In fact, many of America's wars would not be possible without Christian support. Why is that? The short answer is that while the way of Jesus is a way of nonviolence and enemy love, that has never been the prevailing logic of American Christianity, which is formed much more by Christendom than by Jesus' own example. And the logic of Christendom is the logic of empire. You see, in the early centuries of the church, Christians were on the underside of history. They were a peaceful but persecuted force of resistance to a violent empire. They spoke up for the poor, for those who were under the boot of the power brokers. But when the Roman Emperor Constantine converted to Christianity, it was because he had a battlefield vision of a cross accompanied with the words, "Conquer by this sign." So he slapped that cross on Roman shields and went to war, slaughtering people in the name of the crucified one. Christianity was transformed from a nonviolent revolution standing with the crucified people of history to a religion of the empire. So let them call it the Department of War. Let the American empire be honest about what it is. But let's also be clear that while this rebrand perfectly captures the colonizing, conquering spirit of Christendom, it has nothing to do with the way of Jesus, the crucified one.